the last time I was here and I shared that, they asked me that question, and I actually, got all choked up because it was still so raw for me that I got my life back. I mean, I'm a real estate broker, and for all of last year, I couldn't even walk into a house and show the house. I had to unlock the door and go sit down because I was in such pain. I either sit on the counter or on the floor, it didn't matter, but I had to get out of the pain. And the last time I was here to share, this experience, I mean, I couldn't even keep from crying because it touched my heart so much because, the last time I was with my kids, I was with my kids at Christmas time, which was about just 6 weeks or so after the surgery. And my kids said, "Dad, you seem so much more involved with our kids." I mean, my kids said that about my grandkids. "You seem so much more involved." I was down on the floor playing with them. I was picking them up and stuff. Just less than 2 months after the surgery. So, so yeah, it got my life back. It absolutely helped me get my life back. I mean, I was on Channel 4 not long ago. I mean, shortly after that, and I thanked him publicly for helping me get my life back. I don't know if you saw that or not, but I mean that sincerely. I mean, I went through 5 chiropractors last year. Do you want me looking at you, or do you want me? Okay. I went through 5 chiropractors last year, and I believe in chiropractic help to a point. But each one of them, I found after getting the MRI done, I found out that they were all guessing. Nobody knew for sure what the problem was. When I came here and got the upright MRI done, and now one of the things that was so great is the doctor shared the information with my chiropractor without hesitation. And he saw it, and I could see on his face, he goes like, "Oh, okay, well, this may take a little more as well." And of course, when I saw it, I'm no expert. I didn't know, I don't know one MRI from another, but I did see enough to know that, my gosh, I need something more aggressive. And there's something, you almost have to experience nerve pain to understand what it's even like. It's debilitating. I mean, it affects your mood, it affects, I had back issues years and years ago, and when I was, my daughter was 1 year old when I went in for my first back surgery, and all my kids' lives, I've been envious. Every time I drive down the road and see somebody holding their child, it made me envious because I couldn't do that. All my kids growing up, I couldn't hold them without hurting. Now I can hold my grandkids, Now I've got a brand new back. I tell people that Dr. McCord guaranteed it for 100,000 miles. I'm good to go. At 60 years old, I've got a brand new back. My back's better now than it's been for the last 20 years. I mean, I'm thrilled. And had I not met him at Channel 4, I'm not sure. I don't know what I would have done. Just gone to another 5 chiropractors. I don't know. But no, I'm truly grateful for the. I'm grateful for the upright MRI. When I was laying down, I didn't hurt. It was when I stood up or when I sat up, and so it made a lot of sense to me that, the best MRI is going to be one that you're in an upright position, because that's when the gravity's pushing down. Again, I'm no expert, but it made sense to me because my only way of getting out of pain was laying down. So if I'm out of pain, what's that MRI, the old kind, going to show for me? It's not going to show near as much as if I'm in the position that I'm hurting. It made sense to me, anyhow. So when I went in I lived in Illinois at the time. The day before my back surgery was scheduled, it snowed 12 inches, and I had to shovel my way out of the driveway. I'll never forget that, to go get my first surgery. And all they did was trim the disc off, and that's why I really appreciated Dr. McCord investigating further and shared with me that if the disc is, the type that, if it's in a place where it needs to be trimmed, it may be just an ongoing issue. You may want to rebuild that. And it made so much sense to me, again, because I'd already been there twice. This is my 3rd time in. But every time I'd gone before, I still couldn't do the things that I wanted to do without feeling some pain from it. So now understanding it more, that once your disc gets to that place, it's, in some people anyhow, it's inclined to continue having that problem. But you started to say condense. What would you like for me to share? All I know is talk from my heart. When you hurt as bad as I did for as long as I did, to find an answer of getting away from that and getting away from any pain medication. Again, yeah, it truly is. When somebody, I can look at somebody in the eye, and when I see that grimace look, I said, your back's hurting, isn't it? And you can feel that, feel that energy, because you have to almost have experienced it yourself to really know what kind of agonizing pain they're in. To me, there's nothing worse than that kind of nerve pain where it just, it feels like a knife in your calf and your leg and your foot's numb and you can't do what you're trying not to limp. I mean, I used to measure how bad my back was by how far I could make it in the grocery store hanging onto the cart, and it got to the point where I couldn't make it to the front door without limping. That was the goal, to make it through the store without limping, you know, because I was hurting so bad. But so there's so many levels I'm so grateful for, you know. Well, years ago I'd had 2 other surgeries. I got hit by a drunk driver years ago. That's what I think prompted the whole situation to start with. But yeah, I mean, I went through every kind of chiropractic. I mean, from acupuncture to not inversion, but when they pull on your spine, to the Nuka thing where they adjust your neck. I mean, I've spent thousands of dollars with trying to avoid surgery. I didn't want to do it again. You know, that's why I wanted to say that one of the beautiful things about Dr. McCord is sharing that information, because when everybody, I mean, it's going to help everybody to know what the problem is. It doesn't serve anyone to continue to work behind the veil, and without that information, without the viewing of the real problem, that's what you're doing. You're guessing. You're working behind the veil. When that veil was pulled back through the upright MRI, you know, it became very obvious what needed to take place. I couldn't argue with it. And now I'm reaping the benefits of the results. I did, but last year was at a point where, I mean, we all have a pain tolerance for what we can handle. But last year it got to the place where I said, okay, I've got to do something. I had tears in my eyes half the time because I was in such pain. I've got a high pain tolerance. When I walked in the room, Dr. McCord said, that's really impressive. And I said, what's impressive? I hurt. And he goes, it's impressive you can walk. You know, because I mean, the things were so distant, the discs were shot, you know. But what I would tell you is that I understand what that pain feels like. I truly do. I understand the feeling of being hopeless and helpless, because it seems like there's no way of getting away from the pain other than just in a horizontal position, something like that. I understand what it means to not be able to pick up your kids or your grandkids. I've been there before. I understand what it means to not be able to work or not feel like working because you're in such pain. All I know is I'm so grateful that I met Dr. McCord. Dr. McCord introduced me to the upright MRI, and it made too much sense to me not to try it. I hurt when I was in an upright position. I wasn't concerned about it being a closed or open MRI. I was concerned about what is the problem? What's going on with my back? I've gone to all these professionals who can't seem to figure it out. What's wrong with my back? And when he put me on the upright MRI, and we saw the results, and then he prescribed a solution. Here's what I feel like you need to do. And I followed that. And now now it's 6 months later, I have my life back. It's unbelievable. When I visited my grandkids, they just were here 2 weeks ago. And I'm on the floor with them, I'm picking them up, I'm wrestling around with Josh, the 7-year-old. I mean, I got my life back. I can't tell you how much that means to me. I mean, I honestly can't. I would tell anybody that.